Yes, they should be able to hear us. They can hear me at bare minimum.
Good morning.
Yeah, they can hear you. Yay!
Good morning, everyone. Hey, welcome back
Yeah,
to our podcast. It's been a minute.
it's been exactly 357 days since our last one. It was November 30th of 2021. That's actually when it went
Oh,
live on
God.
YouTube, so it's actually before then.
Oh, my God. I didn't know it was that bad. Oh, no.
We're back.
It is.
Well, we took a Christmas break, which I said in that session. I said in that episode. And then after that, I never set up another disaster cat. I tried 2 or 3 times, and people were just like,
Mhm.
"No one's free." I'm like, "Okay, I give
It's
up."
it's hilarious how on brand that is because it's just like when we were doing the main campaign and we were like, hey, we might take a little bit of a break because, COVID. And then it has been almost 3 years since we did the main campaign.
I know. I was thinking about this on the way. I had to drop Casey off to work this morning. On the way back, I was thinking about the fact that I was writing Rain in 2020, right before COVID started,
Mm-hmm.
because I got the idea during December and began writing the character in January and February. Because I remember going camping and writing more stuff while I was camping.
And the fact that you wrote Rain was really the inspiration to do the heist campaign when we had the availability to do something else because you guys joked long before your creation of Rain about
Yeah, because we
all
want the
rogue
chaos of it.
campaign. Well, have we been successful? Has it been
Dude,
chaotic,
we're set
Conlan?
40 sessions and we're not done. We have at least 2 more sessions minimum. And I
Mm-hmm.
guarantee, knowing us, it will be slightly more than that because we gotta get out of the freaking, quote, dungeon. I'm just being lazy. Cash. Um, we get out of that while it's falling apart, which is a fun little thing before it poofs into the nether and Dianata's money is gone. I don't feel any bad for
Oh,
this.
I hope you guys are still in the cash. I hope you guys are still
I
in the
don't. I
cash.
want to deal with that. I want to get out. I don't care if I'm yeeting myself out. People got seconds. I'm taking it to the platform and whooping as quickly as we can.
Mm-hmm. So you will leave some of the people behind if need be.
If they do not, I'm being very simplistic in my orders. Is get on the damn Duna platform. I'm coming around once. I'm. I'm not playing this game where I keep looping around to try and grab you. It's not
Get
happening.
get on the bus, children.
Yeah, get on the bus. We're going.
So let me ask you this one thing, Conlan. What happens if that something intercepts that plan?
I know it's
Do
not
you have plan B? Do you have a plan C?
the plan is still to get the fuck out before the thing closes, and I know we have limited time.
Hmm. Yeah, I will. I'm not going to give any freebies about how long, but there's going to be a quick like descriptor of visual of how far the chain moved in 6 seconds, so you can try to like
Math it
estimate. Yeah. Hmm.
makes sense. There has to be some kind of timer, or else we can't judge how much time we have.
Hmm.
Can't judge if it's a never mind, you're too far away.
Well, there's literally so behind the DM screen for a second when I'm since I'm planning for next session, there was when I was trying to determine exactly how long it'll take. A big factor of it is making sure it's a challenge for you guys still, and things can still happen in that time period. So there's room for like plot things to happen or a slight exploration if need be, but also there is enough time for you to literally mad dash it back there and get to it in a couple rounds. I literally counted it. If since you're all rogues, you can all move 90 feet at least in a turn. And from the
At most.
furthest,
Well, at most, normally ignore Andy, who's a broken case.
if you are in the furthest corner of the cache, to run from there to get to the top of the chain, it'll be about like 48 seconds.
Yeah. So
So
we've
if you
just
if it
just under a
literally
minute.
was if it literally was like go 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 and the Duna platform's gone and something, everybody just run the fuck out of there. You can technically make it if you are unimpeded on your way back.
Uh,
Keyword unimpeded.
I know. Andy can be unimpeded. Andy's Andy. Andy can just run past things. I feel like it's one of those. He's moving so fast, you can't see him. What was that?
I'm still allowing attacks of opportunity, but they're at disadvantage because of his speed.
Yeah.
Because rules of D&D, and I still want to hit him.
Okay. I still want to try.
They're still gonna try. Psh. God, you imagine how proud one of those fire newts would be if he's just yeah, and Andy's like, ah, motherfucker. He's like, yes, I got him.
Yeah, just sees a little bit of blood and fur on the tip of his sword. Got it.
Yeah, I did it. Yeah.
Oh man, there's so many elements, and we still have to get back out. Like, however, we're gonna get out, and hope that
Mm.
there aren't still like 1,000 slimes in the freaking treasure room, and then we still might have to fight armors in the treasure room because they're definitely all activated at this point. Like, there's too
There's,
much commotion going on for them not to be.
there's other ways to get out.
I know there is. The most robust one is give me your sword. Guys, get ready. You can just shatter it.
Mm-hmm. There's
Which
also
part of
there's
me
all
kind of wants that to happen if we make it and the Tuna platform keeps working. I kind of only want to do that so that way Dahanada walks down there the next, like, tomorrow morning and goes, "Where's my stuff?" Because it's just all gone. The
dude,
whole.
can you imagine that he just announced his family not only is marrying into one of the major families, the Duke's families, but
Yeah.
he also announced a partnership because of that family to basically redesign Zista City for free heat everywhere in every house, in like every street and stuff like that due to his oil, and then all of his money gone.
God. Rain distrusts him so much, though, that she's like, I think that's better for the better. We'll figure out heat on our own.
Oh my god. But yeah, that's gonna be rough.
The most rogue thing I'm going to do on
You
the
remember
way
how
out.
you imagine how expensive like oil is gonna get if the main supplier of oil loses all of his money and he needs to try to like compensate. Hey, it's 50 gold for a pint of oil now.
Actually, will end up being cheaper in places like Ladris where they're doing it from their own wells.
Mm-hmm. It's the city is fucked.
Yeah. Oops. I don't like that Hanada, so.
That goes on the list of things Rain didn't think about.
Rain, dude, the amount of things Rain has affected in the world at this moment is hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
She has zooped a dragon, helped zoop a dragon out of existence.
Well, it's
Uh,
still in existence, just
Out of our realm, out of our what am I looking for?
the astral sea is essentially the space in
Plane, out of our
between
plane.
worlds. Mm-hmm.
That's what I wanted. Out of our plane. But he
Have our
also
plane.
still can get back out, so that means he totally is like still a problem, and now angry at me. And
Rain. Wow, I thought some powerful people were going to be angry with me after this heist. Never thought a dragon would be.
nah, when she realized the dragon existed, she knew a dragon might be angry with her by the end of it. She just hoped not. I hope I run into him again one day and just go, "Well, this is more your fault than mine." He'd be like, "That's not how this works. I'm a dragon." She's like, "Well, actually, you're the one who caused the issues."
Why are you mad at me? I didn't send you to the astral sea.
Yeah, yeah. Other people, parties did. He's like, "The only person who was smart enough in the room to send me to the astral sea is you." Fair assumption.
I'm flattered.
Good read of the room. Good read.
No, but he was intrigued by Rain, and things could have gone another way. He would have kept you if he had gotten the chance.
Not much of a keeper.
Nah, he would have kept you.
I jump in the lava pit more rather than be stuck in there forever.
He would have he has a goal. He kind of wants to, when he comes back into the world, create a some sort of army, and he needs some generals. He needs some leaders to be generals.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, our plans do not align. I only fight for things I believe in. I'm not very well convinced to fight for things I don't believe in. That's kind of the
He
whole Rain stubbornness.
he likes to break people down over time.
I reiterate the Rain stubbornness. There's a reason. Think about how much she's been through as a person. Because you know the whole story.
Hmm. I think we've gone over bits and pieces of it in previous disaster casts too.
Yeah, but there's stuff we have not talked about. And, like, her resolve is quite strong. Like, that's not a measurable D&D trait. It's a personality trait of the character. She is a strong resolve.
Hmm. Well, he would have tried to break her down nonetheless.
I no crap. I understand that he has goals and he wants someone
And
to help perpetrate his goals.
he's the epitome of pure evil. Ancient red dragon.
Hey, you can make an evil work with you.
Takes time, but possibly, yeah.
Yeah. Well, negotiation was going. Oh, didn't even start, dude. Immediately, Callum was just on something that night. It was just like, no, I'm on a tear. I'm
I
going.
literally loved that where he started speaking, and literally 30 seconds into him speaking, you out loud were just like, this is going not how I planned.
Yeah. Yeah. Like even
And that
Rain's face was
happened.
probably just like, what is absolutely happening?
And I love how that happened literally like 2 minutes after the dragon called you all out and said, like, the one who breaks down when their plan fails. 2 minutes later, plan is not going as planned. Plan is not going as planned.
I wasn't breaking down. I was more just like absolutely baffled that
Mhm.
Seabreeze had this in him. That's why I didn't stop him. It was I was just like, I kind of just want to see what happens. Like my curiosity took over.
Seabreeze had a plan this whole time.
No, Rain knows for a fact he did not have a plan and he's bullshitting out of his ass, but she wants to see what he can do. She knows
Mhm.
he's just pulling this out of his butt and just like
I, I, as a DM too, I loved seeing in last session you guys like sweating over rolls and like just completely pure bliss when you rolled ridiculously high on something that you felt was like a super important roll kind of there. That was just like pretty rewarding moment seeing as a DM.
yes.
Also, I don't know if you were drunk or high or anything like that, but you in the middle of the session were just like, oh, Bryan, I love your storytelling. Thank you for doing this. And I'm like, oh,
No,
buddy.
that was genuine. I was not drunk at that point. I got drunk after that point.
Hmm. Once everything, all hell started breaking loose.
Well, once it became just a chaos fest, that was kind of fun for chaos fest instead of the I'm gonna die. Once I realized that we had some kind of plan, and I wasn't gonna be instantly vaporized by a dragon. Once I was no longer in his instant vaporization range, I felt more like I can get drunk.
Oh, if you see Seabreeze again, I feel like Rain would actually genuinely thank him. Seabreeze essentially saved Rain's life there because the dragon was looking at them, and Seabreeze was like, "Oi, fuck face over here."
Let's see. No, you're correct. Right, Rain. Like I've in you know how like play scenarios of characters in your heads and stuff like that. Uh, right in the like character moments in my head, Rain Rain sincerely thanks him. She doesn't know that he changed to becoming a paladin, but she knows that out of the goodness of his heart, he made sure we didn't die and made sure that he got rid of the dragon.
Hmm. You also told him not to re-die again, and she probably thinks he just re-died with no hope of saving him.
Yeah, admittedly, noble sacrifice is much better than his previous sacrifices as just being an idiot.
Hmm.
That was more what Rain was kind of saying, was like, every time you sacrifice yourself, it's because you just run at a problem that wasn't really that much of a threat. Like, had we just strategically worked on it, it would have been easy to accomplish over, like the fire elemental. Dude, if we just planned together, we would have been fine, but you just yeeted yourself at him.
That's how Callum plays. I think that'll go be a lot more effective in a different party setting. Like if he was on something more like the Misfit Warriors or something like that,
Yeah, well,
it'd be a
because their
lot more
combat's a different
fitting.
type of combat. They also have healing magic. They're not
Yeah.
a group of rogues with literally no healing magic.
Hey,
A
that
group
lets you
of
be.
rogues who are trying to keep quiet and not cause an issue, and he just loves causing issues.
I love how every time the Lucky Sync gets some sort of healing magic, they lose it like immediately. Like you got Serenity, who got the level 1 of Bard, and you had healing magic with
And we
Cure
had it for
Wounds right
a
there.
session.
And Serenity got kidnapped. And Seabreeze gets a level 1 Paladin, so he gets Lay on Hand and zapped
He's
into the Astral Sea.
Hey, I kind of rather be there right now with the dragon. Luckily, they're not
Mhm.
next to each other.
Your healing is literally stocking up on potions and a tiny bone naga that lives in Andy's body.
Yeah, it lives in his fur. Great planning. We are Rain's hiring a cleric next time.
Sees the heist party get together. Are any of you clerics? No.
Find
We need
one.
to go. We need to go to church.
We need. Well, actually, you can just go to the. There is a school for clerics in the city, so
Hmm.
you could just go there.
Well,
I know it's
it's all.
related to the church, but
I was about to say it's all through the church, though.
I know. But you can go more directly into the school and grab some idiot who doesn't
Mm,
understand that they're in danger
God,
because they're young and stupid.
God, have you ever seen a Catholic school before? Okay,
Do you have a Catholic school in game?
it's not a Catholic school, but it's a school
Is it?
for the people who are going into the clergy and
It looks
everything
exactly
like
like a
that.
Catholic school in your head, doesn't it?
Rulers and everything.
Uh, hey guys, welcome to DisasterCast
Oh,
with
hi, yeah.
Bryan and Conlan. I'm Conlan Patrick Rose. I play Rain, Bracket. Uh, Greg, that's his name. Um, Holy crap, I don't remember my
Altuck.
Altuck. How do you remember it's Altuck?
Because you say it we used to say it all the time.
An Altuck from the Callum's campaign, which name is escaping me. I literally read it 20 minutes ago, but I'm tired. It's
Something of the Draco Tyrant.
Yeah, because it's 4:51 in the morning. Bryan, I'm trying to point to you.
You took my intro away from me.
And here,
Hi.
our wonderful TM.
Hi.
Make it even
I'm uh
worse.
I'm the DM. I'm Bryan Creevy. I'm the disaster master of Nat Disaster. And yeah, I don't currently play a PC, but I play every other NPC, so if that counts.
Let's go for Bryan's characters. Paul.
Paul,
Paul.
Torian, Boyrain, 42, Static, Bliss, Normal, Time, Greasefleur, It, Cossin. Go
All the
on and
dies,
on. And
all the barons, all the baronesses, all the
every shopkeep you've ever talked to.
the characters you guys wrote.
Yick.
Uh,
He's still out there somewhere.
Kick him off the city.
I originally wrote Yick. Oh, yep, focus. Come on, camera.
I'm just blurry now. We're gonna move on. Oh, we're back. I don't know. The thing loses autofocus randomly. It's real annoying.
Yeah, since we got my new camera, it's been pretty good, I think.
It's because it's new, Brian.
It doesn't mean anything.
This camera is, I think, one of the original cameras we bought for Nat Disaster, which was
That's some
4.5 years
high-quality
ago.
yeah,
It's the
oh
same
my
camera you
god.
have. It's just 4.5 years old of using it all the time.
It's so weird that we've almost done this for 5 years already.
Yeah,
I wish we had more of a following by now. That's the one thing
it's
that I
one of those
wish,
things. This
because we
stuff,
have such a good story going on all the way around. It's just we don't have the promoters or anything like that.
the hope always has to be, because sometimes things like this, you watch a YouTuber do YouTube for 10 years, but only for like 3 of them they've actually had any kind of people noticing they exist besides their core like first 100 followers.
Hmm.
Because that's just how things work. They scale like this.
Yeah, I just wish something would get us recognized, because I would love to have a disaster cast like this. And although we have had some sessions where our friends would come in and ask us questions and stuff like that, just like complete random strangers who watched and experienced what we wrote and played and did and have
And have
genuine
questions.
questions
Yeah,
we never even thought about, or things that we would have loved to talk about and stuff like that. So that's just something I've always wanted,
I
people to
I agree.
experience my works and like them and have questions and stuff like that. One day we'll be like 60, and then there'll suddenly be a random cult following for, for our
I know we'll all
session.
be tired and cranky, and we're like, oh, I don't care. Rain's story's already finished, guys. Read the damn books.
Oh god.
I wrote them for fuck's sake.
Oh, and yeah, so this is DisasterCast, a podcast where we sometimes a D&D podcast that we sometimes talk about D&D. And for this session, we've actually been pretty on point with it.
Yeah.
This podcast. Oh my god.
Episode
Episode.
24. Uh,
Hmm.
for those who have gotten this far or even are watching, because people might not have been being, so there's gonna be an announcement that many of you might hear the day of what I'm talking about. On Thursday at 4:30, well, you're all going to be with your families or ignoring your families during Thanksgiving. Uh, this is going to re-premiere on our Twitch channel.
Hmm.
I'm going to re-promote it and stuff, so that way people can watch it again. And you're probably, if you're more likely watching it on that Thursday, hope you enjoy ignoring your family. But for
Yeah,
right
and if you
now, it's 5 a.m. on a Tuesday.
and I have work in carry the one an hour and a half.
Yep. It's
But
only
and
time. This
also
is our free time, guys. I'm sorry. So get used to these 4:30 sessions. We're gonna try to just
episodes.
whatever. We're tired. Reader, it's 5 a.m. and we woke up at 3 a.m. to make this happen. So like,
A little more insight into my life. I've been doing that more regularly because adult life gets busy, guys. When you
yeah,
get real life, like responsibilities and bills and blah, 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 your evenings, you kind of just want to sit there for a little bit and
it's when I
just
realized why our parents were so boring. It's because it was like, I don't want to do anything. Why do you guys want to do stuff?
you have so much energy.
I just want to die. I just...
Oh, and also, if you are watching this on Thursday when we're re-premiering it, um, go onto our YouTube channel and watch some of our D&D sessions if you want to continue to ignore your family's bullshit.
Yes,
Uh,
absolutely. Then you'll have more context to what we're talking about. That would help.
what what would you recommend somebody who is watching this for the first time to watch? Do you recommend Humblewood, Misfit Warriors, or Lucky Sink?
I think Lucky Sync because that's our best session one. I think session one in the Misfits is a little boring. Like at
It's
the
because
end, there's a big combat which is fun, but like it's kind of boring.
that was also in the combat happened in session 2 because Asia had to leave early in that session, so we had to cut it short. And also, half of you guys were experiencing D&D for the first time, and we were having audio issues.
Yeah, so that's the other thing is we have our rigmarole and our routine done by the time we start with the heist campaign. Humblewood's fun, but you can tell our heart isn't in the characters as much.
Oh, yeah, we were, because that was, oh
That was just a
wow,
holdover thing.
the world just shut down. We're all depressed, but we still want to play D&D. Um, let's do these like one-off characters and stuff like that just to dick around with where we don't have to care about them. And then you guys all started to care about them a lot by the end.
Yeah, yeah, it's it, but like I think we all cared wholeheartedly about our characters, except for Bryan. I think didn't care about Serenity as much. Uh, he wrote Serenity just would. Serenity is actually an insight into Bryan's mindset when he wrote the character. Is the best way to
Hmm.
describe it. Because by like session 10, he's just like, I'm actually not in this mindset anymore, and it's kind of weird playing such a horny character. And then he
Hey,
just keep playing it.
he still owns it when he comes back to player though.
Well, it's because Bryan will always sell, because Bryan loves having fun. It's just who he is. So
Hmm.
he'll sell a character he's written. It's the same reason why when he's Jin Rash, he's Jin Rash. Bryan is, it's one of those things, Bryan doesn't know it, but he's real great at getting into character.
uh for me, I would definitely still say Humblewood would be my third recommendation out of our three things that we've done that we put on YouTube, because the Reign of the Draco Tyrant is not on YouTube yet.
Me, I'm going to work a calendar with that. We need to get it up super bad.
But I would actually, if
They're all
you,
edited and ready. They just need to get descriptions, but me and Callum never got together to get that done. We're just
we're
we,
just
we
gonna
you put
dump.
two people with ADHD, autism, and other issues together and said, "You guys are in charge." And as you can imagine, we struggled. Also, it ended so abruptly. Like we ended at a cliffhanger, so hard of being ready for next session, and then done because Callum's mental health. He realized I can't do this all the time.
Yeah, yeah, it does take a toll on you being a DM.
Yeah. Well, he also, I think, he just took a downturn. It was one of those coinciding where he's getting both stressed and then had a mental health downturn, and it just, and he's like,
Yeah,
"Hey guys, I love you all, but can we take like a month pause?" And we're like, "Yeah, sure." And then we never messaged in that chat again.
you should randomly do that one day. Just like, so when's next session, guys?
Dude, I should, I really should, but I don't know if everyone's talking or not because I don't know, like, directly know everyone in that group chat.
Eh, fuck it, chaos.
Just be like, yo, when's the next session, Callum? It'd be really funny. It'd be even harder to coordinate because now we have people on both sides of the country.
Hmm.
Because Jaden went to his art school in Cali to go finish
Yes,
his
okay.
film degree.
Um, Cycling back to what I was saying though, Humblewood would be my third recommendation. I would honestly have to say, if you don't mind low budget productions, I would say Misfit Warriors over Lucky Sync. I love the Lucky Sync. Um, but I loved what we were doing with the Misfit Warriors and the story back then. I was in a weird spot of my life back then because things had fallen apart and I was just a ball of chaos. But I had a vision for like a Legend of Zelda esque style game and world, and I really loved the character development that you guys had. That was my first experience DMing truly. So I didn't know what was gonna happen, and I knew what was gonna happen that like of stuff I wrote, but it was so amazing to write a story but have people live and exist and make choices inside of it, because I saw you guys develop your personal relationships, interactions that I wasn't expecting.
Beg for
Ways.
lore dumps.
Mm-hmm.
There was at least one session where we chanted lore, lore, lore.
Mm-hmm. Funny moments that literally I'll remember for the rest of my life. Like enticing Bryan Main's character with something related to his god and things
Oh
he's
my god,
doing,
that's the best
and
thing.
him just, huh, neat. Just,
That's my favorite thing. You spent a solid 5 minutes describing the storm and all of this, and like begging him to pay attention, like looking him in the eyes as he's drinking his beer, and he just goes, "Huh."
and I stared at him for a solid 5 seconds afterwards, and he didn't say anything. I'm like,
He kept looking at you
okay,
too,
moving.
and he's just like, "I don't know." He literally looked at you like, "I don't know what you want from me."
So I would personally I would recommend, if you can deal with the audio issues that we struggled with in the beginning and stuff like that, to watch that, because I love the moments, especially episode 5, Sorry, with the propane
That is
tank.
one of the best episodes we've ever had. Still to this day, it's still one of our most viewed, mainly because we
Hmm.
view it all the time because it's so funny.
Yeah, I've watched it so many times over because it's just so good. And it was hilarious watching you guys struggle as level like 2 and 3 characters to survive against things, and level 4 and go through all that. With the heist, we started at level 5,
Six,
6.
six.
We started at level 6, which is still not too high, but it was high enough that like you can do some stupid stuff and get away with it for a little bit.
Yeah, you can make mistakes and it won't be the end of the world. Especially, it allows you to, since you have more leeway on learning your mechanics as a character. Level 2, A, you don't have that much, and B, you have no leeway if it's a real enemy.
Hmm. You guys were level 3 and you fought a water elemental, and some of you had like 21 hit points, and on a hit, the water elemental did 2d8 damage.
Yeah, yeah, it would literally over halve our HP instantly. We'd be like, okay.
It's just like, I am suddenly in a very dangerous situation.
I think at that point, Bracket and Nock had the most HP.
You were the tank because of your AC. You were just like, try to hit me, try to hit me.
Well, because I think it hit someone else and it took them down instantly, which was a normal person. I was like, okay, maybe they don't. Maybe it just is
Mhm,
they roll. I didn't know your roll is, so I had to
mhm.
estimate based on its 2 or 3 hits to other people to be like what its average quote attack plus is. 'Cause that's not that I not that I number max. I don't try and find the real number. I don't want the real number because then I'm in my head gonna subconsciously think about it. But I want to know
Mhm.
like if I can get close and I know my AC is below that close number I have in my head, I can be like, okay, it's worth. It's one of those risk assessment things. Like if you do in real
Yeah.
life, you might not know someone's actual quote AC because we're people, we don't have that stuff. If you were to see like someone in a fight and you're like, seems the big guy's punching him down, but like the small guy's, and I'm a medium sized guy. I'm like, I might be okay. I might be.
And I love that too. I can't wait to get back to that when we do that, because that's also how Rain is so tactical with her thinking and her strategies with everything she does. Bracket is reactionary, so I get to see Con- Conlan, you see a situation and not like, okay, what is the best way to get out of this situation? Just like, huh, I think this will work.
Yeah,
Make sure,
I pick whatever idea comes to my head first. Sometimes it's a good one. Sometimes it's not.
like commanding the water elemental to follow you.
That's it. That was a good idea. That did save someone's life.
Yeah, that was hilarious because you were just like, follow, and you're like, yes, it worked. Oh no, it worked.
Now, bracket, bracket. I admittedly only thought this far.
I
There
thought
was no
about the.
long-term plan. There was he's in danger. It's gonna attack him. Command, command. What the heck it was? The spell was
I
called.
think you said follow. Well, the spell is command, but you issue a one-word command. I'm pretty sure you said follow, and it was about to attack either Kyron or that merchant
It
that
was the
you guys were
merchant.
with at
That's
the
why I
time.
decided to do it.
And you
Because
were
I
like,
knew he didn't
follow.
have that much HP, and I was like, I kind of don't want this poor, just rando person to get killed.
Mhm.
Because I
Oh
think,
wait, yeah. Kyron was already inside the water
yeah, I
elemental.
think that was the second thing is I was trying to keep it distracted about Chiron as well, so that way. I also was like, I have the highest AC, maybe I can reach and grab Chiron, which I did try and do, and I did successfully do. So it did work out, but I did admittedly make that plan on the fly. That was not like I did think have it come attack me, and I'm going to try and grab Kyron. That was as far as my plan was. My plan did not consider the fact it's going to attack me next. Doy. I'm the only
Yeah.
thing it's going to try and attack for the next couple minutes, so why am I grabbing Kyron? I am not in a great place.
And Nox just in the background shooting it with arrows, trying to do what she can, and Jinrash Bryan Mains wasted a turn using his fire breath on a water element.
Dude, the amount of times that I wanted to punch him in the face during the misfit time because we'd just tell him, he'd read the situation and be like, this is what the problem was he was doing that like thing. This is what my character would do, like thing a little too much. He's like, I understand Jinrash is a fucking moron and a drunk, but like, come on, guy, be at least somewhat strategically useful.
Yeah, he was more reactionary than Bracket.
Yeah, which really didn't work when you're just like, no, you can't just evaporate a water elemental.
He was thinking practically in that sense, like, oh, if I apply enough heat, the water will just dissipate. No, it's a creature made out of water. It is literally
It's not a
immune to
puddle,
fire
dude.
damage. uh,
Think Pokemon, not think real life.
oh my god. I hope because obviously for our viewers, um we do eventually plan to get back to that campaign, maybe sooner rather than later.
It depends on the heist ends, pretty much.
But
There
they'll
might even
probably
be an
do.
overlap where we restart the main campaign and we have one last heist session or a couple super secret sessions sprinkled in just for some fun. Because
Mhm.
we do need to, quote, and not end the story. All these characters will still exist in the world and we'll still be able to accidentally run into them or interact with them or whatnot as like a special event in the main campaign. But
Mhm.
we each have like individual things we have to eventually go off and do that will separate the party one last time for us to maybe not all come back together immediately because we're not going to be a group anymore. We're just
Mhm.
individuals who are done with our mission, which
Well,
is like
we
weird
can
to
all
say.
we can always do 4 a.m. sessions.
We should not do 4 a.m. sessions, Brian. That's not good for either of our healths.
Conlan, play Rain at 4 a.m.
Can't do it. Not this what 4 a.m. Some 4 a.m.s I can talk as Rain. If you get me late at night, I'm much more likely to talk in Rain's voice than I am at 4 a.m.
Mhm.
I did it the other day night while I was camping. I didn't realize my tent mate was still awake, and I was kind of like very, very softly to myself. Not enough you could hear, but like if you were listening, you definitely noticed. And I didn't realize he was still awake, and I was kind of like talking his Rain's voice, like thinking about something. And I was just like, someone else is awake. Oh fuck, this is embarrassing.
I'm just talking in a woman's voice for no reason.
Yeah, legitimately, like that's how it was. And I was like, oh, that's a little weird. I'm just gonna go to bed now. We're gonna pretend that never happened.
Hmm.
Uh,
Uh, but there might be, if and when we do return to the main campaign, there might be some PC change-ups and roster change-ups to the Misfit Warriors. We might be adding some people, changing some characters, but some core characters will be staying.
yeah, it's one of those things. It has been almost 3 years since the main campaign, so some of us have moved in life. Some of us are in different mental health places. I'll be able to play bracket. That's easy.
Mhm. When you haven't played a character for a while, there are two different reactions. There's holy shit, I'm so excited to jump into these shoes again. I miss this character. And then there's the I needed that character at that time in my life. I'm not really needing them or in that mind space anymore. So it goes one or two ways.
Yeah, I think Vicky's struggling with the way Knock was written as being like in the mind space, and Vicky feels weird about it. I know that. I feel a little weird about bracket, but like I can get back into bracket. That's not world ending. Unfortunately, I've played Rain so long. I've played Rain much longer than I've ever played bracket.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that it's now easy. It's gonna be so weird going to a paladin who has so many less random things he can do besides spells compared to Rain, where you have all of her bonus action things that she can do. You have the way she attacks and then adds on sneak attack, and then the way you maneuver around a combat space. It's totally like they're totally different characters. One's a range character, one's a martial, like a pure martial character with some spells. The other one is a range character that very rarely gets into martial combat, and when she is in martial combat, it's usually because she knows she's stronger than the combatant, and she's beating the crap out of them.
Or she had no choice.
Oh yeah, or that she's in close quarters, and the option was that or die. So Rain's not taking that option.
Mm. Like in Forgotten Storage.
Yeah, well, she had to fight the stupid. Was it rat? What were they?
They were like little tiny like ape demon things. I forgot what they were called at the time, but
Yeah,
and they ripped her dress.
And then she raged for the first time and obliterated them. It's gonna be so different because Brain's also Bracket's such a 1-point paladin character. He's Link. He's your 1 point just practical steal all the items in the store in the places you leave.
He's Link and Deadpool combined if they had memory loss. Basically, that's
yeah. He's like Link. He's a little mixture of Link and Deadpool because he does the Link thing where like if he knows the space is never gonna be occupied by normal people again, he has no problem stealing every single thing in that space. He stole all of the things from Xylia's shrine because his brain was like,
literally,
"She's my goddess, my bee, bye."
Literally in the shrine for his goddess, steals all the jars of oil that are in the room so they can light things on fire later.
Dude.
That was hilarious, but honestly, that I was fine with that because, like I said, back then when I was first creating this world and the stories, I was like, all right, I want it to be Legend of Zelda-esque. And what is one of the most fun things in Legend of Zelda is to go into every single area, grab every single jar, and smash it against the wall and take its contents.
Yeah, it's so Bracket is so that like because of the unlimited inventory you decided in game. Everyone has a magical bag. In reality, everyone does still carry the items they see. They just can't be encumbered by them.
Mm-hmm.
So Bracket, if like that's the joke. If you see his character picture, is he has literal swords falling out of his backpack.
Mm-hmm.
Is he has to carry every single thing Bracket grabs. When Bracket had 25 swords from all those and scimitars from all those skeletons, where I was just robbing, literally grave robbing.
I don't care. They're never going to use them again.
They're dead. And they're much more useful to me. Bracket has that mentality of, I'm alive. I'm the hero. He knows he's the hero. I think that's the other problem is he knows the meta so hard because that is him. He is the hero, literally the hero of Light and Time.
Mm-hmm.
He knows he's the hero, so he's like, I can't legally do anything bad, which is the most chaotic good thing to play ever.
That's what you loved about it, being able to like just be the hero, but also feel because you're the hero. Everything's kind of justified.
Yeah, you
the
can.
lines are a little blurry.
Yeah, if you talk to the right people, like if you can convince a lawful good paladin that you're the hero, so what you're doing is for the better good, they'd be like, okay, fair. They wouldn't be happy about it, but they'd be like, I can't arrest you because you're kind of too important for me to arrest you, aren't you? Yeah, and you know it, don't you? Just a bit. Just.
I'm also
It's only causing major trauma problems for me.
I'm also curious when you get back to being Bracket, you for the first time started like interacting with like generals and like soldiers and stuff like that, and Bracket's a paladin, so obviously we know his past. There has been some sort of training at
very
some
loose
point.
military training.
Mm-hmm. But we haven't seen that with him yet, so we don't know.
Yeah, and most paladins have a tendency to respect each other for their dedication to. Being a paladin is not an easy job. There's a dedication to training and a dedication to morals, and it does seem a decent amount of paladins in the Nalshikar military are aligned with Xylia because she is a major goddess for the area. So a lot of them, I think, see him and go, man, this guy has all this Xylia insignia, holy symbol, everything. And now, pretty shortly, the rumors of the gods are collecting warriors. Things are going to click to some people who are smarter and be like, this guy is that guy. Like, because I think half of these paladins wish they were going to be that guy.
I
That's
can't
why.
wait to. I can't wait to see Rain know that there's going to be a hero of time, gets to meet Brackett, see what an idiot he is, and then just
It
this
is my okay.
belongs.
So in my head, my favorite dichotomy of like the characters of like when I play scenarios is that's half the reason Rain joins the Misfit Warriors. Is she sees these are the guys who are supposed to save the entire world and goes, ah, crap, they need someone to coordinate their bullshit. That is half of the reason why in my head I'm like, the freaking queen's gonna see us and be like, and this is the people who have to save my entire kingdom.
Give a heavy sigh. Well, fuck.
Yeah. It's the concept of like that's what in my head. One of my stories I've written like headcanon is that's essentially why the queen assigns Rain to be like, seem competent and I trust you. Please make sure they don't screw up. It also sells as a nice test. If they screw up, I don't need you to be my advisor. You're not very useful. But if you succeed, you are incredibly useful because you've befriended the most powerful beings of our time.
Sorry,
Warriors
Pino
of the
Info.
gods.
Oh yeah, and Rain never aligns herself directly to a god too. She just always just asks them for help.
Well, it's because Rain understands that we don't live in a monotheistic society. She knows
Mm-hmm.
the gods are because in canonally in the world, people know the gods are real. They're not. It's not like in some games you play as like the gods are a higher thing, but you don't really know they're there. You just have faith. In this world, the gods are real. They're tangible, like genuinely tangible.
There's a theory that one of them might be running around on the ground very fast.
Yeah, Rain doesn't know about that. I forgot. I totally forgot about Matt's bullshit that he did.
Oh wait, no. Well, there's that. There's that Matt doing that one thing with the one god outside a
So that
game.
means there's
But
two
then,
gods now that are
but
just.
then there's also all of your theory that I've never confirmed nor denied of guard.
Oh, the guard's a god. Yeah,
You guys have been asking me to answer that for years now, and I'm like, he could just be a really fast guy.
I'm okay with him being Mercury. It's fine. Sold on it. It's fine. If he's a god, not a god, he's just nice. That's all that matters to us.
A
He's nice and
god that
seems trustworthy, so we're good enough for us.
a god that decided to be a mailman.
Well, if you're the fastest being ever created, and you're immortal, why not? Also, then you always know what's going on because you're the mailman. You get to hint on people's letters. Especially if you
It's
have
all
magic.
it's all the gossip.
That's no, that's all he is. All he is a gossip fiend, so he decided being a mailman's easier.
Dude, if you have the mending spell, you can basically break into anybody's mail and then just reseal it up.
And he's a god, so I wouldn't be surprised if he has the mending spell. That's it. No, we figured it out. We figured out guard, even if that wasn't your original plan. I like that better.
Just
All
oh
he is a
sure.
gossip.
Oh sure, I'll take care of this and definitely will not read this. Runs off.
Which, oh my god, that's a
Oh,
secondary funny
honey.
part. If we think about guard, is we're just trusting him as a mailman because in ours, okay, so though I don't think any non-Americans are gonna watch this. In America, the United States Postal Service, like, if they break into your mail, it's a federal crime, not like a small crime. Like you go to jail. If people mess with your mail, they go to jail for a while. Like it
Mm-hmm.
is 100% illegal to tamper with mail. Like obviously, can it be tampered with? Yes, but as stated, those people go to jail. Um,
Yeah. If you
uh,
take somebody's package or anything like that too, it's the same thing. It's like a
yeah,
federal crime to steal or mess with anybody
yeah.
else's
If
mail.
you shoot a postal worker, you shot a federal employee. It's the same as shooting a guy from the FBI. Essentially, you you
Hmm.
you, you get go to jail the same amount of time. You actually might go to jail longer for the mailman because they're like, why did you shoot a mailman?
What did he do to you?
He delivers the mail.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we super trust, quote, the mail, because it's in our culture to do so. So we're forgetting that he has no alignment. He's just a guy.
There's no
He has no
oversight.
legal requirement to not read our stuff.
There's no oversight on his service. It is his delivery service.
service.
His oversight is his morals.
Yeah, like, think about the fact that we just trust him. It's because he's just a nice guy, so it's like, hey, we're paying him. You know, there is a customer, unsaid rule of, hey, don't fuck with my shit. But, like, he doesn't legally have to do anything. It's purely...
Like, oh, sure, I'll definitely get this to your dad.
I'm imagining the letter to like a letter to Kyron's mom, and then she's just sitting there looking at it, knowing he can't deliver, and just goes, "I don't know what the plan here is." I literally can't. It's like if you ask to deliver mail to a dead person, he just looks at you and goes, "Sure, I'll try my best."
Guard runs straight into the underworld. How did I get here?
He does it like a circle and take a run up and just goes straight down, like Sonic.
Accidentally runs into a portal.
Oh man, imagine Guard gets stuck on the other side of the fucking world. See, that's what's funny is at this point you've made the imperatives that he's so fast that he could get to other, at least on this continent, he can get all over the continent no matter what. And I wind up on the other side of the continent at one point. And our first thing that we're going to do, we're not going to ask Guard to get us back. It's just call for Guard, wait the day it takes him to get over there, and send him a letter to tell other people, we've made a mistake.
Guard, I have a delivery. All right, let's set up camp.
Yeah, no, I'm dead serious. That is going to be a straight up session. If you ever teleport to the other side, I think that's a whole session. It's just us going, crap, we're stuck here. If we're safe and we're not like immediately in danger, we're immediately just putting up like a slow camp and calling Guard and saying, and having him show up and be like, hey Guard, here's some letters. We had time to write them. And he's like, how did you guys get over here so fast? Mistakes.
It took me a solid day to run all the way over here.
He's like, and last time I saw you, you were over there, and that was a day, 2 days ago.
I don't normally have people go get ahead of me.
Yeah. Also, he has to be a god. He has intrinsic knowledge where every single person is at all times.
Magic.
Well, yeah, also that, but like, it's pretty high level magic, my guy.
This is a high fantasy world.
I know. I have no problem with Guard. I love Guard. I'm not critiquing the character at all. He's wonderful.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just saying I'm never confirming until you guys.
Until we read a book that says, by the way, Guard is a god. He's the messenger god. He's nice and neat. Always true, neutral, and just
you guys research the gods, and there's and you're like, oh yeah, there's this one god people don't typically follow. Oh, his name is Guard?
Dude, there's so much we can do in this. And that's why I'm excited to go back to the Misfit Warriors, is such a wide world for them.
I also I love that type of play style where it's like an adventurous play style where you're not just in one zone. Like you can go off and explore and have random encounters. You can find a dungeon and find treasure and stuff like that. Like I love that type of style play. And it's hilarious that I've created a world where literally just several days away from that is like a fully functioning city structure where life is completely different.
And it's busy, and it's one of those. I think that's my favorite thing about Zista is it does feel very alive. I think we've done a good job of making a city feel like you're in a city. Like even though we're in only one city, well, whatever many square miles the size of the city is, it feels like it's huge because it is. Because there's an under Zista, there's all the shops, there's all the different regions of the city. It's dense. It's a very densely populated area.
God, I remember mapping out the city. That took a minute.
Dude,
It
yeah.
was I wanted to make it big so it felt like there was places to explore and adventure and escape to if you needed to run away.
Oh, it's been great. Oh, so seriously, wow, we've only talked about D&D. I'm so proud of us for the
I know
D&D part.
this is like
It's
the
because we
most
have this pent up,
reunion.
guys. When we were doing these every other week, we got less pent up on D&D because we were talking about it on the regular.
Mhm,
So it meant we would branch out more. Our next time we'll probably branch out more. This is gonna be a D&D centric one because we haven't talked in a while about it.
mhm.
Especially because our
Well,
both our significant others hate when we tangent on D&D when we're supposed to be on like a double date.
they will allow it, but then you will see in their faces, and we're like, "Oh no, we're so sorry."
Like you can see, not distress is not the right word, but you can see it, and they're just like that. You can see they're checking out slowly.
Sorry, I just heard a loud noise, and Athena's deciding to like fuck up the bed. She's got her nails in it, and she's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah,"
It's just
like how
obliterating
cats
it.
do,
Um,
because they just like destroying things.
I was reading a thread on Twitter about Thieves Cant and
Hmm.
how some people really apparently hate Thieves Cant because they feel it's
People
useless.
people don't utilize thieves' cant enough. They
And
genuinely don't. It's something in this campaign, the Heist campaign, I wish you guys used more of because you were a party. You guys used it verbally, but nobody ever did like the written stuff of Thieves' Cant.
well, part of the reason we haven't done written stuff is we're not trying to give clues to other people.
Well, like in certain situations, like when you were in the Forgotten Storage, you can make certain carvings that mean something that only other rogues know. So you guys could have done that to
Not
track
get
your
lost
way
as easy.
out or something like that. Yeah,
I think it's because we found a different way to track in and out.
yeah, the
That's
string.
yeah. I think because we had that other resource, we ended up not using that. Had we had
Mm.
that, not had that resource, we would have used Thieves Cant.
The string had the one problem with it: break it and it's gone. So
Yeah,
I
we
I
made do.
can't wait. I can't wait to do that one session.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
I've
We're gonna
I've
cause it one of these times.
I've
We've
always rolled
almost
for it.
caused it before.
Hmm.
Like we've
I don't.
had.
You guys got so lucky with the rolls when you were going through uh the endless corridors to get to the treasury room. That cord got so close to breaking so many times when it went
I
through
know.
like the doors.
I know it was bad. But yeah, like I like people complaining about it. I'm like, dude, we use Thieves Cant because you can speak Elven, you can speak Common, but if you speak in Thieves Cant to other people who know Thieves Cant, the other people don't. They just hear you having a conversation. It's to them sounds like maybe a weird conversation, you know. Like it
I
does
mean,
sound like you are speaking in tongues a tad bit because you're not exactly making sense. But like you and the other thieves are conveying. You look so baffled, Bryan. Are you okay?
no, I'm listening to you, but I'm pulling up an old session because I wanted this. I wanted to read the one instance where we used thieves' camp from there. Where you gave a coded message in Thieves' Cant to Misfortune. Yes, yes, you told Misfortune to tell Delson, get back to the party, Delson. And you did this in Thieves' Cant, which she doesn't speak. So what she ended up hearing and translating to Delson was, the night is long, but time is short, as celebrations near their end, and shadows must
Yeah.
return to the light. Delson.
Yeah, yeah. Like we don't actually like say out all the long verbiage we want, but like
Because when you do it, it's typically to somebody else who understands Thieves' Cant, and then I just know in my head, okay, they heard something weird. But in this one instance, I had to actually verbally say what they heard
I know it was so
because
funny.
there's no way she could have actually translated the message to Delson.
That was
So
a hindsight. Oops, not thinking about because Rain's been dealing with only rogues for the past couple days, so she's
mhm.
just like in that mode of she can just send a coded message to someone, and they'd understand. And Miss Fortune's just like, "What in the absolute fuck are you talking about?"
She's not a rogue. She's a jester.
I know.
Which I hope that class gets made official one day because it is amazing. But that'll be another that'll be another episode of
Yeah,
DisasterCast.
we'll talk about that later. But yeah, people don't I agree. People underutilize thieves' cant, and like
Hmm.
in D&D, you're allowed to learn other languages, guys. Like, do remember that about your characters. If you're building a character there and you can't take enough languages in what it says, if you have some backstory, you do have the right to ask your DM about a language or two being added. That is allowed. You are allowed to have a conversation with your DM and be like, hey, my character lived in this area, blah, 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 blah. There's lots of elves in it, too. There's humans and elves.
Hmm.
I think I should be able to speak Elven, too, right?
Yeah,
Like,
and there's also things that were introduced in Tasha's Cauldron on everything else about character background customization, where it basically makes everything fully customizable. Before races, you had to just have the racial traits that came with that race, but Tasha's changed it so you can be those character races. But hey, you grew up in an elven society as a dwarf, so instead of this one extra language, you have Elven instead.
yeah.
Oh, you are a fighter, but you grew up with this backstory. So instead of this proficiency, I'm trading it for proficiency in carpentry or something like that. Like you can customize what abilities your characters have.
Yeah, I have a character I'm writing for if that one shot ever happens. I also still haven't talked to Callum about it. Uh,
Oh, ooh, my screen just went completely black for a second. That was weird. Continue.
okay. Rude computer. Figure your shit out. uh, I'm gonna have to talk to who Callum, who be the DM, or if I use a character in a different campaign, it doesn't matter where it ends up being used. Uh, she's gonna have some custom stuff because she grew up in a different life. She grew up, and she does have a disadvantage. She grew up privileged, so she has to spend more money for food and
Hmm.
other things because she grew up privileged. But being privileged means she learned more languages because her mom made her learn more languages because that was family tradition. She learned how to use firearms because you need to learn how to shoot. Also, in the time period she lives in, firearms are more prevalent. So, like, it's a common thing. If you ever join the military, you learn how to use them. Regardless if you're
Hmm.
going to be using them full time, you all learn.
Random thought off of what you said though. Sorry, going to something that we haven't really thought of about Rain, unless you have and we just never shared. That must have been so confusing growing up when she was on the streets too, because she grew up for the first 4.5 years of her life learning multiple languages at the same time. So, as a infant's head, you're not separating them like, oh, this is common, this is Elvish, this is Dwarven. So, like, when she first started having to grow up on the streets, like, probably for a second, it would be she would speak in a language and she would learn which words were from which
No,
language and stuff like that.
she to this day, because she is a person who's naturally trilingual, still struggles with it.
Mm-mm.
It's
Like
hard to play
random,
that up as a character because we don't actually have the real words for any of these languages.
yeah,
Unfortunately, they're
like
just
randomly says a word in Dwarven when she was speaking the entire sentence in, or not Dwarven. Oh, she's learning Dwarven, so she probably was like, "Oh yeah, this, huh? Yes, I remember the
yeah.
word."
But she definitely did struggle with that. That's part of the reason why people didn't like her at the orphanage is she knew three languages like fully, and like they could tell she was very bright, and she was probably a little condescending. Let's be honest here, because
Also, all the
Rain was
adults
the
probably
smartest
talked
person in that
shit.
damn building.
Mhm. And all the adults probably talked shit about the kids in different languages because they knew that they couldn't understand. And
And
then Rain
she
was
can
just
hear
like,
them.
"What'd you just call me?"
Yeah, they probably like say celestial, which is less common but common amongst the city. I
Mm.
wouldn't be surprised if they learn celestial just so that way they can all bullshit with each other. And Rain's sitting there knowing full well how to speak celestial, and he just goes, "You guys are being mean," and they're all like, "Ah, oh, fuck."
Then punishes Rain because child was acting up.
Yeah, and she could not defend herself because she is no. It's a fucking orphanage. It's an
Mm.
orphanage that after her mom died lost all of its money. Since the primary donator to all the orphanages in the city, is
That's
dead.
that's gonna be a sad origin to write into a book one day.
Oh,
I'm
it's
gonna.
gonna upset people. By the way, Rain is upsetting. She is genuinely an upsetting character. You're like, why did you do so many bad things to the poor character? It's like, because the city can be mean. The city is both wonderful. It's the same concept as the United States in some ways. Is there's wonderful opportunity if you let it, if fortune have you and is given to you and you get it. But if it gets bad, it can get really bad.
Hmm.
And also sometimes when this is something I've noticed in real life, and I kind of wanted to work into a fantasy character because I thought it'd be fun. Is usually if you get one bad break, it's close. It's easier to get to the next bad break than it is to get to a good break. So then
Hmm.
you end up with another bad break, and it tends to tumble that way. And it's very hard to get to your good break.
That's called falling into a depression.
Well, yeah, and part of it wasn't even depression. It was purely just you already have bad fortunes. You don't have any money, so you need to do something illegal to get money. So you begin working with a group that's illegal. Because you're working with an illegal group, they're not good people. So bad things happen to you because you're part of this group. And that's the thing is a descending trajectory of
Yeah,
bad shit happens. And until she chose to get back out of it in some way, positive things don't begin happening in her life until she chooses that.
and everybody loves a tragic backstory.
Yeah, shit, hers is just extra tragic, with some tragedy sprinkled in.
But hey, I would love to continue this podcast forever because I have also missed this, but I'm sure this will inspire us to do a couple more ones and maybe get some other what's the word I'm looking for? People who have hard time sleeping. Oh my god, what is the word?
Are you looking for ASMR?
No. I'm just saying people who have problems sleeping. There's a word for that. Oh my god, what is it? Oh, whatever. Hopefully, we can have another podcast episode. Well, I just had a brain for a moment with more of our other Nat Disaster crew members. But
Who don't sleep.
yes, there's a word for that. People who don't sleep, who have problems sleeping. But I'll obsessively think about that after this
He'll text
episode
me
is
in
done.
2 hours, don't worry. I'll
It was
know.
this. Damn it.
I just
But
choked in my gum. He was watching me die.
this is the best way to go out. All right, we love you guys so much. We have to go be adults now.
You have
Um,
to be an adult. I get to sleep for another couple hours. Then I have to adult. Because that's what I'm doing. I'm going to go to bed because I'm tired as fuck.
I'm gonna pound an energy drink. Until the next time, we can just geek out together again. All of you watching this on Thanksgiving, good luck surviving. Watch one of our sessions and distract yourself that way. I promise you'll be worth it. And have a excellent rest of your morning slash evening whenever you're watching this.
Bye bye.
Bye.